Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Cardboard Alchemy Live. I'm Peter Vaughan. We are behind the scenes at this board game publisher talking about games, either games we make or games we're playing. We want to hear what you're playing. We've got Rosie Powell joining us in the chat, our comms manager. One of the last times I'm going to say that name because she's changing her name. We'll talk about that in this episode. We'll also talk about what we recently played. I had a game retreat weekend, a surprise game weekend where I played a lot of games with some friends, and I will tell you which ones I thought were the best. One of which, one of the games I played is a game currently live on Kickstarter, which Rosie's played as well. So we'll talk about all that. And behind me is the scene from Andromeda's Edge. That is the third game made by Cardboard Alchemy and has been releasing to backers. Andromeda's Edge is, we wrote a big update this week about it, and it's almost to every single backer that's backed. We're really working hard on getting it to everybody. And it's only 2 weeks where I'm going to leave this as the background, and then we're going to switch it up because we've got critters coming. So we'll go. We have a couple weeks off in November, so we have a couple weeks for you to get in your questions about anything you want to know about making board games, playing board games, or our games, specifically Flamecraft, Andromeda's Edge, Critter Kitchen, and the like. Someone asked me about Mission Catastrophe today. That was our very first game at this company. Sadly, not in print anymore, but that's a lot of fun. That one was a lot of fun to make. We've made 2 sci-fi games here, which shocked me when I realized that. And I said, no more science fiction. Except we are already working on more science fiction because we're already working on expanding Andromeda's Edge, which we hinted at in our newsletter this week. So let me talk about a couple things we've also mentioned in our newsletter, because we just put out a newsletter. We have a quarterly newsletter where we deliberately try and make it A, fun, B, informative, and C, full of things to win. So if you haven't joined our newsletter, you should join it, because I'm actively, every time we're working with Rosie to make sure we have an exciting newsletter, not one of those boring ones, not full of images, full of stuff to do. In this particular one, you can win T-shirts. You could win like one of our Andromeda's Edge, our Flamecraft, or our Critter Kitchen shirts. We always do prizes because we just want more people to have fun stuff. So every newsletter's made to be fun, but we also have a lot of news to share, in particular in the next one, because 2025 is going to be uber awesome for Cardboard Alchemy, and I hope everyone's going to enjoy what we're going to do. Lots of fun surprises coming. So anyway, in the newsletter, the other thing that was that I want to say in the newsletter is that Flamecraft Deluxe is making a reappearance in the newsletter. We said that CMON, which is our partner that distributes Flamecraft in Thai, they were interested in getting a deluxe edition because they missed out on getting a deluxe Flamecraft. And of course, we don't make the original Series 1 Deluxe anymore. But we thought, is there something we can do? We put Series 2 pieces inside a Deluxe, and we let them have an exclusive edition for CMON Expo, which is this weekend. So if you want to just instantly pop over to Thailand, I wish I could go. Honestly, I had so much fun in Thailand this year. And it's in Bangkok, and oh my God, they're going to have a blast. I know that Tom Vassell from the Dice Tower is going, and Man vs. Meeple is sending David from them, and so they've got a lot of they're building up. They're trying to make this like sort of following the footsteps of Essen is a really big international show. They're trying to make a really big international show in Thailand, which I'm excited by. Maybe some year we'll get to go. We want to go maybe with Sandara sometime and sign games or have fun and make new stuff. There's actually going to be a lot of Flamecraft things coming, so maybe we'll get to do that again. But they have a Flamecraft Deluxe, which if we can secure some copies, we'll have to make that some prizes, because it is basically an English copy with Series 2 pieces and a Thai rulebook, which is exciting. It's a good way to practice your Thai. But anyway, they say that Flamecraft sells really well in Thailand, which excites me. And I had a really good time meeting with CMON and Tower Tactics, which is the company that sort of runs a lot of the board games in Thailand and was acquired by CMON. And basically, the folks at Tower Tactics have a really good pulse on what games do really well there, what the Thai audiences want. And Flamecraft is huge. And they actually say that one of the things they do over there is they focus on a game as opposed to like move on to the next one. I mean, I say that, and they are actually they are translating Critter Kitchen for us. So they are going to get our next one out there as well. But what I mean is they said that they are putting a lot of love into Flamecraft over and over and over again because they know it deserves it and it's an evergreen and more audiences don't know about it yet. And that's really exciting. They're not just like letting it, they're not just printing once and then saying that's it. In fact, they're hosting tournaments of Flamecraft in Thailand, and it's really exciting what they're doing over there. So I'm excited that people will have a chance to get a deluxe at the CMON Expo. And that was one of the things we talked about in our newsletter. We also mentioned, we talked about for those who missed out. I mean, if you didn't notice Andromeda's Edge is coming to retail now because we got most backers covered and we wanted to make sure that it goes to stores. And so one of the things that we did for Andromeda's Edge is we made sure all of the goodies are going to retail. Well, I say all, but there are some all-in things. But basically, the deluxe pieces are going to retail out of the gate, which is pretty big. We're having the base game, the expansion, the deluxe pieces called the Supernova, and the promos, so that if someone wants to and they've heard the buzz, like they've seen a Dice Tower review, I don't know whether a good weight rating, or they've seen Rado runs through and Shay Parker gush about the game, they can get, basically you can get all the pieces. And I am going to go to BGG Con to show the game off as well in their hot games room. So we're really excited. We're just getting started with Andromeda's Edge. I mean, there are so many layers to that one. So we can talk about any other stuff. There's plenty of things to talk about as far as games go. I will bring on Rosie so we can talk about what we're playing. I'm sure Rosie's been playing some fun games as of late. We're still in space, Rosie. The moment.
If anyone hears any loud bangs, it is fireworks.
Fireworks? Are you celebrating over there?
It's technically, I guess it's Halloween and Diwali Friday.
So there you go.
Clearly, people are out partying or in their gardens fireworking.
I should have come to the stream in costume. That's what I should have done.
Yeah. I'm dressing up tomorrow, so I feel like no.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I went to this game retreat where so I surprised Will Brown. I don't know if he's listening or watching today, but we'll see. It was his birthday, so I couldn't say last stream that literally right after the stream, I flew to surprise him at his place. He had invited me, he and his wife had invited me, and I had played it off like, oh, no, I couldn't possibly go. And then I surprised him and I showed up. And we played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games over the weekend. We did not play any Andromeda's Edge, sad to say, but and I had forgotten to bring Critter Kitchen. So I could have easily played Critter Kitchen with them because they love Critter Kitchen over there. But what we did play, a lot of different ones, but I wanted to highlight some. Now, one that was like really hot for me the weekend was Res Arcana. It's not a new game, but I had not played. I guess it's from 2019 by Tom Lehman. Have you played that one?
Res Arcana.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of it.
So check this out. Your goal is to get to like, I forget if the goal is different for player count, but for 3 players, the goal was to get to 13 points. So you start the game with a bunch of resources, different kinds, like, earth and darkness, and you start with water and fire. You start like little elemental stuff like that. And you have 1 pearl, which is a point. And there are some cards that you have that are going to be worth a point. And then there's locations that are worth a point. And then there's monuments that are worth a point. And your goal is to play your deck and find a way of chaining to get points as fast as you can. And what's fascinating is you get dealt like 6 cards, and that's your entire deck. You draw 3 in the first turn, and you draw 1 card every other turn. And your goal is to get the resources to play the cards that you've drafted. And the cards are going to be a engine of sorts to generate resources. I had a very interesting thing because I'd never played, and I was drafting cards, and I was trying to get dragons because I love getting dragons. There were some dragon cards, and so I was starting to draft dragons, and I had no intention of drafting demon cards at all. But I got a starting hand, and I couldn't play anything except I could put down this 1 demon, and this 1 demon allowed me to sacrifice my cards into my discard pile to get other cards. So I was able to like get my cards in my hand, and I was slowly but surely kind of figuring out. You also get a mage to start, and your mage has a starting power. And I immediately loved everybody's way of getting, like, Will's wife Sarah, who was playing with us. Sarah had a really good engine, but she couldn't get like one resource, so she was kind of stuck. And you have to figure this out. It's a puzzle to solve. It's like, ooh. Eventually, I think I didn't draft this card, I didn't draft the card that was allowed me to sacrifice my own cards, but I realized how cool it was. And I had drafted a vial that allowed me to transform an ingredient into another ingredient. So unlike Sarah, I had the ability to shift resources, but I didn't have the really good engine. It was fascinating. I think I would play a lot of games of Res Arcana because I think it has potential.
Peter C. Hayward's played it a lot from the comics.
I can't wait to play with Peter now. I was addicted, and I would easily get that game. The other one that I've played 3 times, and I am positive that I must own this game in my collection, is called River of Gold. River Gold is beautiful. It is this gorgeous depiction of a city, like a sort of a riverbank. The river itself on the board is gold foil, so it's really a beautiful board.
It is
stunning. And players have a die that when you roll the die on your turn, it comes up with, like, say, a 4 or whatever, and that 4 corresponds to 3 things you could do on your turn. You can either sail one of your 2 boats 4 spaces along the river and take all the gathering of wherever your boat stops, or you can build in District 4. You can build, and then when you build, you actually are building one of 4 types of buildings, and you're gaining sort of points in that district for the end game. Or you can talk to a customer number 4. Basically, each customer has a different number. And you've got a glory resource, which allows you to shift the die 1 up or down or whatever. If you didn't roll the right number, like, oh, I really want to sail only 3 spaces down the river. And as soon as you start building buildings along the river, then you get a little Lords of Waterdeep style. You get resources when somebody lands on one of your buildings. Your customers will allow you to have powers as you play. So they'll give you either influence in a building district, or they'll give you points when you get to the end of the river and start up the front. It's really addictive and fun, and it's a very tight game. Like, it is short. My biggest issue with it is that I tend to like long games where I have lots of time to get my thing going, and the River of Gold is like, nope, the Emperor's coming. You better have figured it all out. And it's like really fast.
So you played that 3 times along with the other games you played, in sense of like,
no, I actually, to clarify that, I've played that online twice before this weekend.
Okay.
And then I played it again in person. It was my first time playing it in person. It's gorgeous, and I like it even better. But it's on BGA. So Board Game Arena has River of Gold. It might even have Res Arcana. Like, I don't know why I'm not on Board Game Arena more often. We should get more games in our community, which I know we do. There's people who play on our Discord. I just tend to be too busy to jump in there, but I would love to play that one more. And I'll give
the wrong time of day for me. Everyone's like midnight. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have to figure out the right time to cap. We'll have to have 2 different waves of games going on. I'll give one more, and then we'll hear what else you want to talk about, Rosie, which is I played SETI again, and I actually taught that game to Will and Don and another one of their friends, and I really like SETI. It is
played it once before, and then you taught it? That's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I do with games.
I know, but like, I'm just trying to think if I could play a game once and then teach it. Like, I think I'd still need to play it of that scale anyway, not like a little game.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get a rule wrong or something, but in general, I could teach off of a first-time reading, but a lot of people don't want to wait for that. Like, oh, you have to absorb the rules and teach. But that's how I usually get the first game in, right? I'll buy something like SETI, and we'll play, and some 3 people have to suffer with me as we figure it out. And on the first play of SETI, we did botch a couple rules. I think the second time, as I was teaching it this time, I got pretty close to nothing wrong. But there is a lot going on, and it's not science fiction, it's science fact. I mean, it's basically based on actual current level ability to research the planets. So you start with a circular board that rotates as people take certain actions. Earth is pointing different directions, and when Earth is pointing a certain direction, you can scan the skies in that direction and then make a discovery. So you're searching for different types of traces of extraterrestrial life. Like you want to get either it's fun because you have a little player board with a dual layer player board with a computer, and so you get data that you put in your computer. So one type of trace is you doing research at your computer. One type of trace is you scanning the sky, whatever direction Earth is pointing, and then also you can get some other scans. And then the last trace is landing on planets. If you land on Jupiter, you could get soil samples. You could find traces of life if you go to other planets. And then my favorite part about this game is that there are 2 hidden alien species that you have not met. They are face down. You have no idea who they are, and they don't come out until somebody does enough research by the 3 methods to find them. And then when you find them, there's like a mini game. Like there's like a different way to play each alien. There's decks of cards and new tokens and stuff that changes the board. And I love that. I love the fact that there is this, I don't even know what's going to happen mid-game. I'm going to get an alien species that wants to, I don't know, it's got like eggs that are hatching, or I've got another one that, so we had one that was like hatchlings, and Will was playing, and he's like, I'm going to bring this, this queen egg back to Earth. And I go, what are you doing? Don't do that. Like, that's a terrible idea. We've all seen that movie. We know what happens. But anyway, SETI is really good. And I could talk about more, but I want to hear what you've been playing.
I realize I need to tell the Discord that we're an hour early this week for many people. So
right.
It said 1 hour too soon, and I realized, because a lot of Europe is an hour early.
We have not moved our clocks here in the United States, and some other places have.
It's been a fun week for me. I literally, like 2 a.m. on Sunday, just went, what just happened? Why did I lose an hour? And then went, oh, I have some thinking to do. There's some changes.
We'll catch up to you.
I know it'll change back on Sunday, and it'll all be back
to
8 hours. I played a lot of Tend, which I think you've played as well.
That was one of the ones I played as well, and that is one of the ones that has just jumped on Kickstarter, right?
It has. It's one to watch because IV Studios are so fantastic at campaigns, and their quality control and the quality standards, they're amazing. What they produce in terms of, like, this game is basically a cozy farming sim, but it's a brain workout. That's what it is. Right. You are basically playing Stardew Valley, but in space. And space isn't really a big part of it. It just is. It's just on another planet because the animals look slightly different and there's slightly different things going on. But in theory, it's kind of, it's farming. And there's scratching off things if you want to mine. There's stamping with these cool pens, which I think Peter's stolen some.
I have some I don't have them with me. But the scratch off tickets, the only way I can describe it is like, imagine like a really good lotto ticket that's like glossy and it's deluxe looking. I mean, this scratch off they're epic.
And I remember someone telling me that they went to the level of making sure that the scratch off doesn't dust off and annoy people. It stays there. So you have to like rub it off.
Do that. Yeah.
So, that's really fascinating. There's also fishing, which is very similar to how it works in the Stardew Valley, the board game, where you roll these dice and then there's a grid and you basically match up to the grid what you're going to get. I think it's really interesting what they've sort of created. And if you really enjoy games where you feel like you're doing admin in a fun way, like you're comboing and ticking things off, like Three Sisters, like Three Sisters. If you like roll and writes, which are like Hadrian's Wall, like heavier ones, then this is definitely like that.
This one was very brain burning for me because, and I think you said it really well, is that you have a resource that you generate, and for a moment it's in the ether. Like, you don't have it. There is no representation of it. And then you're like, okay, I've got 2 stone and 1 thing I gotta put somewhere. I gotta figure out, and then you gotta scan everything for where you could put it. And then you go, oh no, I think I'm gonna sell it and turn it into money. Now I have
Mm.
money that I have to remember that I have money. So there's a little bit of a tracking thing, but God, the possibilities in that game.
Yeah.
And I will say this.
There's so much that by the end of our play, we were like, we really should have used. There's this thing at the top of one of the sheets. You've got these 2 big sheets. There's this thing at the top where you can turn money into something, and you can only do that once.
Yeah.
You can just like, cross the money off. And we didn't really use that. We realized that's a really easy way to jumpstart a bunch of your stuff. If you really are looking for a specific thing, you can get it up there. But we just didn't think. I kept just trying to get more actions. I kept crossing those off or filling in things I didn't necessarily need, and I forgot that that's probably what they do to get you like ahead if you want to get ahead in one area. And there are these awards which require you to get a bunch of stuff, and then they also give you resources. So it's kind of remembering a lot of things. You do one action and you got to remember what you accumulated in that action, use that stuff, but you could also do your second action and then use all that stuff. It's it depends on how your brain works. As someone who has aphantasia, which basically means I have no pictures in my brain, it is all constant stream of thought, and there's no visuals, there's no words. It's hard for me to track nothing. Like it's like, so I think potentially I need a notepad along with all the papers to be like, I've got this, I've got this. Because I was at one point went, did I cheat? Like, have I sold too many pumpkins? But I think it's really beautiful. These big chunky dice that represent cows, and each turn they'll like give you more milk or eggs and chicken. And you got to plow. Aphantasia crew represent, absolutely. You gotta, and that's really interesting, Peter. We should talk about that at some point because we have very similar brains. But basically, I find it really interesting how if you want to plant vegetables, you've got to plow an area to be able to plant them, and if you want to have animals, you've got to build this huge fence.
You have to build a fence to contain the animal dye.
Yeah, but it's the
dye changes. So if you get one little animal, but then you want to get a bigger cow dye, which I love the dice. I was going to say that while this game surprises me from Ivy Studios, and I don't know why, because they've made a variety of different games. So what I like about it is that they're kind of saying, look, we can make very different games. But what is consistent through all their games is a quality of components. And I say that being one of the people who likes to make quality components, and I respect it completely. The pens that they have in this game have one end, which is the color pen, a nice thick color pen, and then the other side is a stamp that stamps either a leaf or it stamps a fish, or it's really, they're really quality pens, and the coin to scratch off is really nice, thick.
And the amount of stuff I got, I think on the Kickstarter, you can choose how much you want of each, and you can get extras. But when I got the prototype, I got this many pens. I was just holding
that. So that you can play a lot of players.
Paper and this like loads. So
we are talking about 10. Yeah, really captivating. I just think
it's really. I mean, what are your thoughts? Like, have you looked at the Kickstarter on it? I'm just fascinated because they have
checked out the Kickstarter itself.
Because they have sent a prototype to, I want to say, like 30 to 40 people. Like, there is so many quotes, so many videos, and that's incredible because I don't know how many people know the cost of prototypes and the way that
they're very
it's
high.
Not always easy. Pardon?
They're very high. Let me tell you.
They're very high.
They're very high, and we get into this a lot. This is an interesting topic because when we sent out Flamecraft prototypes, do you know how many we sent out? Do you have any idea how many? Because it was before you were here.
I want to say 15 to 20. No.
And we sent out 12.
Okay.
12 because each one had mini dragons in it that I painted and had wooden resources for all of the resources, and we went to a friend to laser cut these things, and then his laser cutting didn't actually give us the resources. So we didn't have time to get like all the resources. So we gave cubes to everybody, but then on the ones that were laser cut, I painted the the meat and the bread and the crystal and stuff. And I made these prototypes because I was trying to, and we got a cloth mat in each one of them because we were trying to show what Flamecraft would be like. And of course, the cloth mat was very thin, and that actually caused most of the backer discussion about whether or not this was too thin and whether or not it would be wrinkly, and like all this discussion happened because of the prototypes that were shown. So if we had shown like a board, people would have been like, what are you doing with a mat? That doesn't make any sense. So I try to show as close as possible to the actual thing. But producing 12 of those, God, each one cost so much each. And then when we made Andromeda's Edge, I thought that was costly, but then we made Andromeda's Edge, and oh my God, those prototypes were like, I want to say like $300 a pop, because we stuck minis in there and we stuck all these buildings, development buildings, because we wanted to show what's possible with the leaders being inserted. And then I was talking to other companies, and we did like, I think we did 18 Andromeda's Edge. It was very hard to produce that many. And I remember spray painting the developments and the raiders. At the office, I had this whole procedure where I would take all these big pieces of cardboard and take them out to an alley, and I would spray, and then I would come back in, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, now I got to spray the underside because I could only get one side of the things. Oh my God. And prototype making and we got very lucky that we have a friend in the East Coast who helps us print resin minis of our stuff. And he just recently helped us print a set of resin minis of all of the dragons from Flamebound. Someday we'll talk about that a little bit more. And this was an attempt for us to reduce we were trying to get both a very deluxe prototype to be shown and reduce the costs, because the printing facilities that are in the United States that do prototypes are not cheap, and the plants in China, they don't produce single one-offs at a cheap rate. Yeah. So it is very difficult to get that many. And I remember talking to Lucky Duck at one point, and they said they produced like 100 Kingdom Rush, like 100 prototypes. And I was like, 100 prototypes? Oh my God, that's crazy. I don't know what they looked like. I don't know if they had any minis or any pieces that were like hard to produce, but me trying to imagine like how many tend.
Well, like Board Game Brief says they made 70.
Wow.
Yeah.
70.
This is what's so interesting about this subject, is that I've worked, I've had publishers send me games, publishers that are tiny all the way up to big publishers, and they all have different budgets. It doesn't even matter about the size of the company. It depends where they want to spend their money. And I've been the only reviewer with a prototype, and then I've sent it around. Or there's been like this is probably the biggest, most amount of prototypes I've ever seen out there.
That was one of the techniques that I think early on in the days of when we make Rise of Tribes, we were making Rise of Tribes, and I could only get 5. I could only get a couple made. And Martin Poole in the UK said, hey, if you send me one, I'll pass it on to Paul Grogan. Yep. I'll pass it on to Mark Dainty. I will get it around, and we'll send it on to people, because that way you can save money. And I think for a long time, that's been one of the techniques, right? Yeah. We sent Flamecraft to Rahdo, and Rahdo was very, very much like, I will send it on like immediately after I look at it. I'll send it on, so it helps you out, Yeah,
because also reviewers really don't like keeping a hold of prototypes, because what can you really do with? Can't really. A lot of them are, once the game is produced, it's not the same game anymore sometimes. And
and if we're doing our job, when we come out with the final Flamecraft, you shouldn't want the prototype that I like hand painted the things.
I'm sure it was lovely.
I'm sure it was lovely.
Might be worth a lot of money.
I mean, Critter Kitchen prototypes, I can't even look at them now, because they're like, oh, it's old art, and it's like this. It's just it's a different time, but you're trying to do the best you can to get the game represented and get it out there. Each time we're trying our best. What was that?
I've still got the Critter Kitchen prototype.
Oh, that's cute.
I mean, what do I do with it?
Well, that's the thing. There was a thread a couple of years ago where some content creators were selling the prototypes, which I don't agree with. And nope. I would like it either you return it or you destroy it. I don't really want someone to. The main reason for me is not for that channel to not make money or something, but just because I don't want like an old rule or old. I just want confusion. There was a person already who posted like an Andromeda's Edge prototype icons into BGG and said, these icons are not on the back of the book. And I'm like, because those icons are old. Those are not the right icons anymore. So please don't post those anymore.
I
But
should
anyway,
cook my
prototype,
prototype. I
I'm
should cook
blown
it up.
away that they made 70. That's like amazing. Wow.
No, it's and the scale of it is just massive.
Yeah.
And I think
So
it's
kudos to
really,
them.
yeah, incredible. Like what they're doing, and they're constantly changing their page. We're always watching and looking at what other people are doing to see how tactics change and what focuses
Yes.
companies take. And we are also massively into high quality products, and
Yeah.
Ivy do that as well. So we often look at them and think, what are they doing, and what are the choices they made? And they must have similar kind of experiences that we do with prototyping and stuff. So I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I would love to. We should, be nice to have them like in a chat like this someday, because I don't know this for sure, but I think in some ways we may have inspired them with Flamecraft and the interactivity of that campaign and just the community and stuff. Because now I see them innovating, be like doing things like, I think you can even scratch off, get a puzzle code, and put that code back in the Kickstarter, and they've got all these comments with the codes and unlocking things based on people playing online. They had their last campaign, which was a sci-fi, that I believe they had an interactive adventure. That we've actually tried building an interactive adventure as well for Mission Catastrophe. I still have yet to get the code for that and put that in our Discord. But it was fun because Rich built an actual way to play Mission Catastrophe through a story interface. Like, it was a real fun idea that we tried. And I see IV innovating all the time. I love what they're doing. So they're constantly inspiring.
Did you secretly hope that it was scratch and sniff though? Because I kind of did.
I did not hope it was scratch and sniff, but I was immediately wondering whether or not anyone in our, because it's a fascinating thing that they're doing with this, and I don't know how everyone feels about having a destroyable resource. And now I did notice that in the prototype that they sent Will, it was a fat stack of paper and just so many scratchers that they sent tons.
They have made an app for the scratch off as well,
nice.
which you could use instead. I think
smart.
it takes a little bit of the novelty away, but
yeah,
I think that's clever. Obviously, with roll and rights and flip and rights, you always have things
I tried scratch and sniff.
smell like wood or stone. Like, I'm just trying to work out what it would
that
smell
would be
like.
interesting.
Yeah, I think there's another game which has scratch and sniff in it, which is like a murder mystery kind of escape room one. And they showed it to me. It was by ALO, and they showed it to me, and they were like, "It's scratch and sniff," and I'm like, "That's awesome." I don't know what it is about stuff like that I just find really enjoyable.
Oh, look at this! Mike Vanderveen has Rise of Tribes and Dwellings of Eldervale prototypes. I also have a lot of Dwellings of Eldervale prototypes in my house. An obscene amount of Dwellings prototypes that I should, because some of them are like Luke's original drawings. I mean, I actually have the one where Brad Brooks drew for Rise of Tribes. He drew a river, a mountain, and a forest. And I have Brad's version of. We should just printed that art. I'm telling you right now, it's a masterpiece. I believe the rivers were like a couple of blue lines. But anyway, I have these old Dwellings prototypes that, because we evolved those prototypes as we went to try and get those. I can't remember how many Dwellings prototypes we sent out. It was probably under a dozen as well, because it's hard to get that many.
Yeah. Imagine a charity auction of prototypes where they're all signed by the teams, and everyone knows it is a prototype, and then they're auctioned off for charity, and people get this like memento of the history of a game that they love. But they know it's a prototype.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, again, like my biggest problem would be the rules are sometimes not there. But I guess because you can't even like put like there was a time when I worked for Disney. This is sort of tangential, but like I worked for Disney, and every time a movie was made, like Mulan, the computer that made Mulan was stored in a chamber. Because if you tried to make Mulan on the computer from 3 years after that, files will break and it won't work. So you literally had to store the exact machine that processed Mulan, and then you had to store a machine for Tarzan, and you had to store a machine, like frozen in time machines. And so one of the things about a prototype is you could put the current rules for Critter Kitchen inside the Critter Kitchen prototype, but it will refer to terms and it will refer to characters not there, and it's very it's hard to like get the thing to be exactly. So you could play the prototype from Critter Kitchen, but you couldn't play it with the current rule set. You'd have to play it with the old rule set because it just wouldn't operate the same way.
Yeah, I think the only way you could really do it would be, like Bree said, like a museum. If we did like a show of, behind glass, look at all these prototypes from years back of famous games, that would be really interesting to see them. Because kind of some games look so different from
that's
when...
true, actually. When Luke shares how Andromeda's Edge looked, and he's done a couple posts on our Facebook group, one of the things that people notice right away is that it's similar looking, like it feels the same, but then there are things where you're like, oh, wait a minute, there's a bank, not a spaceport. Why is there a bank? His original idea was that you would use the leaders to create 3 pillars of a bank, or 2 pillars. 3. Yeah, he was going to do a bank with 2 pillars. And we didn't find a bank to be very interesting as a giant structure that you built on
Space
a planet.
bank.
We wanted but then there were other things where he had just the structure was there, but maybe the raiders weren't the same and stuff like that. And his original buildings were these wooden pieces like dowels that he had cut. Like he had cut the obelisk was a cylinder that you stuck a peg into the top of it. It's you got the concept through. But yeah, it'd be fun to look at those in sort of a, how did we get from, like, how did the obelisk start, right? Because we gave that cylinder to Sergio and said, could you make us a cooler looking obelisk, please?
That's awesome. That's very cool.
And then he drew the first obelisk as a teaser because we didn't have anything done for Andromeda's Edge. We told Sergio the theme, and Sergio's brain got wrapped around it like, okay, there's this massive obelisk with a beam shooting out of it, and there's ships in the background, a huge fleet. He drew like a massive heavy cruiser coming that's close to the obelisk, like it was massive. And that obelisk stayed with the, like after that, we were like, oh, that's what it looks like. It looks like that.
That's
anyway.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm thinking more about, it's so funny. I'm like thinking more about the Disney time. There's they also have an entire museum to preserve, what happens is when you work on the movies, because I was working on various movies there, and then they'd have a lot of artists that would draw like an original cell or something like that. And then they literally put it in a pile of paper, put their coffee cup on it, and there's a coffee stain because it's just a piece of paper to them. And then later that piece of paper is in the animation research library. Like, this is the first drawing of this, of Tarzan or whatever, or a Fantasia character or something like that. Anyway, it's fun, but also it feels like at a board game company, it feels a little bit like we're hoarders as well. Like we have miniatures from Mission Catastrophe, and we have, I think, lots of miniatures from a game that's now out of print, but we like don't want to part with them, and we're like, well, we'll use them in our prototype drawer. So if we're making a game,
I'm not a hoarder.
We'll have all these Mission Catastrophe robots in it. Look at all those. Yeah, I know. Flamecraft dragons are going to be in our prototypes.
These are the painted ones, and then
yes,
when I need to show a finished, like a product, and then this genuinely is just an empty box. But in case I need the box,
I should bring over the. We'll do it in maybe another stream where I'll bring out the Flamecraft Series 3 dragons that are being talked about. We've shown a little bit on these streams. I had them resin printed from that friend of mine that I was talking about, because it's a lot longer to get them from China. We did talk to a manufacturing plant to make 2 of them, all the way to their latest stage in the factory in China, which we talked about. But the rest of them have been modeled, and the STL files exist, and we've sent those on to our partner in China, but we're not yet printing or anything like that. So while we had them, I also sent those to our friend Mike DePasquale, who basically helped us make the Andromeda's Edge miniatures and the original Flamecraft miniatures and the Mission Catastrophe miniatures. He's been really helpful for a long time. And the funny thing about working with him is that he gets just as excited about seeing them as we do. So when I showed him the Ice Pirates from Andromeda's Edge, he flipped out. He was like, "This is the coolest ever." And he was the one that suggested the Ice Pirates should have an ice back to it. Like it should actually be translucent, which got us going down. It's amazing how many times somebody in the community will "Hey, Mark, how's it going?" Someone in the community will inspire something. Speaking of, Mark is a very inspiring person. But for example, another one that I've probably said before is that Rich Milena, who's our puzzle master, is the one that came up with sound bases for Dwellings of Eldervale. Like it was just a thought Rich had, and I was like, "That's crazy. Never mind. We couldn't wait. Maybe we could do that." So it's really fun when those things happen. Anyway, we'll have to bring out the Series 3 minis for Dragons, because Mike, if Mike DePasquale is any judge, when he saw the flame bound miniatures, he was flipping out. So
he was like, "I want to play that game."
Yeah, right. They've got little props and things like backpacks and stuff like that.
They're very cute. Little croissant bag.
Yes,
which I just want to have in real life all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we'll have to make that. You know, so speaking of things, it's fun to see what fans make too, because I was going to say that we have a Facebook group for Flamecraft, which has Elizabeth Randall's making like costumes for her plush. And I saw someone make I don't know if I have it nearby, a Critter Kitchen plush, which I flipped out. Yeah. Let's see if I can. I think Peter might have seen that in the Discord. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. This was made by a fan who showed up at Essen. Look at this thing.
It's amazing.
This is great because it has you can like turn the head, and then it has the wings also have like wire, so you could like get the wings just so.
It's so cute.
It's really amazing that people out there are so creative, you know.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's really cute. We got a chef mouse as a mascot in the studio now.
When we were like, we can't make them, they were like, "Yeah, I can."
Well, yeah, this is mass production wise. We knew that doing a plush critter would be harder because of the clothes and all the different parts and everything like that. So we didn't really go down the plush route on critters. But this is amazing to see someone actually do this for this.
It's really cool.
Mouse creature, the butt.
I remember even the tail. Look at that.
I know. That's super cute. Sandara, when Sandara sometimes watches these and you see this, look at this. Someone took your mouse hybrid character, your chef, and said, "Hey, I can do that." Really cute. We need a name for this mascot at the Cardboard Alchemy office.
If we'd have had plushies, the plushie cart would have made it into the game.
Yes. Peter and Alex came up with so many ideas in Critter Kitchen that we had fun choosing. So there's 18 carts in the game, and I believe they came up with something like 36 cart ideas or something double the amount, it seemed, of everything. Zoo chefs, there was tons. Critics, there were tons. And we had to pick. We had to decide which ones are the ones to make it. And they did have a really fun plush cart idea. That would have been, I think they had well, I've said this before on the stream, there was a fry cart that didn't make it and a donut cart that didn't make it, because we picked the best carts. So don't worry, you got the 18 that we thought were the absolute best ones to launch with. And unlock.
If you had to choose food from one of those carts, which one would it be?
Oh, the pie cart is an instant 100% the pie cart. In fact, I've started having Peter Hayward and I have been we're in the same city, and he's like, "Do you want to have some pie?" And I was like, 100% I want to have some pie. So as we talk board games and have pie, pie cart I'm glad that got in the game. Also because it's a really novel, let's see if I have it with me. I don't know if I do. It was a really novel component that we wanted. Oh, I don't have it nearby because I have I have almost everything else. Look at all these other carts. But the pies are missing because someone's eaten all the pies. No, wait, I found one. It was such a novel thing to make a spinner where you track your pie count in the game. So you get one of these dials, and the way the pie cart works is that when you visit the pie cart with whatever size and speed critter that you go with, if you go with a boar, which can carry 3 things, you get 3 pies. And the winner is the one who has the most pies on their pie dial by the end of the game. So you're just eating pies. It's a pie eating contest while you're playing Critter Kitchen. You're tracking how many pies you have. And it's such a fun thing to have this extra component of everybody's got a pie behind their shield and they're like keeping track of pies. That's like one of the ones I would eat for sure. We have other things I would eat, and I'm not going to include. I would not include the tofu cart. Someone else can go for that cart. It's not going to be
me. I had tofu today. Like, there's nothing wrong with tofu.
But we have these gelato tokens. Look at this one. This is super cute.
They're really cool.
And what I like about that is that Sandara didn't just do one flavor token. So you actually have different. That was like a pistachio, right? But she's also got like there's your purple ice and like a strawberry. So there's different flavors. I think the best flavor is like a raspberry ripple or whatever this is.
I remember when we were deving really the colors and what flavors they were. Like everyone was voting on Slack. Which flavor would you eat?
But I mean, and I don't drink coffee, but I will also say that this is super cute token for.
I know that. I'm pretending that's chai, and that's for me. That's what I'm pretending.
It's so cute.
It's
with the little paw print in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun cards. Don't eat the. There's some you don't want to eat though. Don't eat the trophies. The trophies are cute though. Look at this. This is a mushroom
really
trophy.
Cute.
Or you could get like a cheese trophy. Best in cheese. These are so fun. Critter Kitchen is going to be such a blast to see what people like the best as far as the gameplay, because there are different critics and different zoo chefs and different carts, different rumors to play, and all sorts of things that are going to be really fun to see what people think is the best combo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Best combo. Peter's saying right now the coffee cart is a top 3 cart for him. So I can't wait till we get into the Critter Kitchen. This won't be this stream, but when we get into the Critter Kitchen cycle and the game's coming out, I want to have, we'll have to hear Peter and Alex's like top combos of what critic, what zoo chefs. And no, the donut cart did not make it in. Sadly, the donuts got all the way to the art stage. So I believe we have Sandara's donuts around, but we don't have a cart within the game.
I really want to have them live unboxing it for the first time. I'd love to see their reactions to their game. I would think that would be really fun.
I spoiled that a little bit by inviting them both over to open the mass copy already. Sorry, but
Peter.
Sorry. I'm sure that. What was that?
They can forget.
Okay, they'll forget.
Yeah.
But
it's still cool. They get to open their own copy.
It's still cool. I will say that I think at that time, both of them said that this was not to say that the other games that they've made don't have the same joy, but the deluxe edition, and I'll show you the size of it. I mean, this is what it looks like. Look at this thing. This is massive. This is like a Borg cube in Andromeda's Edge. This is this is what's coming, everybody. This awesome deluxe thing that when you open that, it's like surprises all over the place.
I don't think I could even lift mine. Right. So I was like, we put it back in its little protective edges.
We should get not only a Peter and Alex match in Critter Kitchen, but there's the standard edition right there. Looks glorious.
Is this the exact same size as Flamecraft?
It is the exact same size as Flamecraft. So if you're back in Critter Kitchen and you see it in the store, we're trying to make it the same size and the same price in retail as Flamecraft. It's gonna be really exciting. But Mark is also asking, will we get a Luke and Maximus rematch? I would love to do that, where the designers are playing the game. right now, Luke and Maximus are playing a lot of expansion content together. So I can't wait to talk about that. But great to see them play again because we had a designer 1v1 stream, and Maximus, I believe, smoked Luke with the I shouldn't say smoked, but he definitely got him with the Zodian Warmongers, and Luke's Darkstar Acolytes were beat. But at that time, we hadn't unlocked all the different factions that there would be. So it's interesting and we didn't have tons of other pieces. And so now I'm kind of curious, what would be Luke and Maximus's ideal game pre-expansion? Like what would they want in there? I think
Yeah.
would they do Destiny cards or Quasars or Vortexes? Get that game. They're sort of the ideal game and see if they could play it. And then it would be fun to do a Peter and Alex Critic Kitchen one too. So we'll work on that. I think people have been asking for that one a little bit longer as well. So we definitely wanted to make sure the files got to print and everything was going and cooking, and we had a lot to work on. In fact, we'll have a Critic Kitchen update soon. In fact, the boats are still not loaded. They are loading. They are like getting done. I've got pictures to share in the next update from the factory of all the assembly lines of Critic Kitchen things, which is fun to view. So we wanted to make sure that was all, like everything was definitely getting onto a boat before we like turn around and go, okay, now let's get our Discord up to date and get a game going. Wow. Alex, oh, this is a challenge. Alex, when you're watching, you've been challenged now to Andromeda's Edge. And apparently Peter thinks he's going to crush you. Now what I want is Alex and Peter playing Andromeda's Edge, and Luke and Maximus playing Critic Kitchen. Well, crossovers,
Oh my gosh,
So,
that'd be awesome. Though
yeah.
I feel like on the basis that Peter's saying I've played about 100 times more heavy games than him, it might be a bit mean to Alex.
Oh wow, Brad. I will say, I will defend Brad's honor and say that when you're developing a game, you're too close to it, and he's probably just trying to show you a good time in that game, and so
Trying to show you a good time, Brad the
I
geisha.
lose so many games of Andromeda's Edge. I lose for fun reasons because I am trying to do lots of goofy plays or try to unlock. I mean, I definitely. Brad cried. Cannot confirm or deny these statements by
Single
Peter.
tier, just
Yeah. Maybe if you were playing blue, maybe that was the reason, because Brad usually plays blue, and so maybe he was just lost in space without his color. I don't know.
I usually play blue as well, so it's hard.
I would love to play some Andromeda's Edge. I was very jealous of the game at Essen where it was Luke and Tim Chewin and Mark Dainty, and we had our demo team member Nicole. And I remember Nicole and all the other demo team members were like, "Oh, I want to jump in," because it was like a race to jump in the Luke games. I would have loved to play that game. Luke apparently, I think Luke dominated that day. So
yeah, I mean, he did. Luke said to me, "We need to find a way to fill the last spot. Can you find someone?" And I went, "Let's ask the demoers because we know they know it." So,
yeah.
And then literally, I'm like, "This is the opportunity of a lifetime." They're like,
yeah. No, that was great. We had we went into a little bit in our Andromeda's Edge update this week. We went to Essen, we recapped it. We had 8 demo team volunteers to sort of run the 4 tables at all times of Andromeda's Edge, 3+, like, because we had Luke sometimes doing his own thing at some of them. But the demoers were fantastic because the people we had join us were already fans of Andromeda's Edge, already were like really interested in this game, knew it, had their own copies, and that was a great way to go. I remember Lucky Duck said, "Are you sure you're going to get," because they usually get demoers that are passionate first, don't know the game, so learn the game second. We went the other way. Well, we went with the way that we thought would be, and we were correct. Passionate and knew the game, so that was really great. We got that completely. Very solid people.
I don't want to not mention the giveaway that we're running at the moment. I don't want to
Sure,
forget.
let's talk about it because we're always doing something around here. I literally had at one point in the Discord, I had like current contest with like because there's always something to win at Cardboard Alchemy. If you ever doubt that, I mean, there's always something going on here. So you can ask us anytime on YouTube or Facebook or Discord, like what can I win right now, and there will be an answer. So right now, Rosie, why don't you tell us about the giveaway that we got going on right now?
So yeah, basically, people always ask us about our amazing t-shirts. And I'll be honest, I'm wearing the worst t-shirt right now. This is a Scout t-shirt. It's not very helpful at all.
Yeah.
But Peter is wearing, I hope.
I do have the Andromeda's Edge Astro Drakis shirt.
Yes, excellent. So we have Critter Kitchen t-shirts, we have Flamecraft t-shirts, we have Andromeda's Edge t-shirts that we've had staff.
Here, you know what? I'm gonna let you talk and I'll go get them so I can show them. 1 second.
Okay. So we've had these t-shirts that basically team members have worn at events and such, and everyone's been going, how do we get hold of them? Now we are planning to put them on a shop, but we have to use a print on demand service and it requires some testing to make sure the quality is there. But we do have some t-shirts already printed, and so we're going to do a giveaway. So we have a Flamecraft t-shirt, a Critter Kitchen t-shirt, and an Andromeda's Edge t-shirt available. And basically, if you go onto the relevant Facebook group, so we've...
Which one do you want to talk about first? Because I will bring up the shirt.
So let's go with Flamecraft.
So Flamecraft, we have... This is the new Flamecraft crest, which is on the back of the Series 2 coins. We put it on shirt form, and Manny was the one that suggested it should be this super soft red shirt. Oh my God, it's so comfy feeling. So we have the crest shirt that we are saying someone can win that. How do they win the crest shirt?
So if you go onto the Facebook fan group on Flamecraft fan group on Facebook, there's too many Fs. If you go on there, it's linked in the newsletter, and we have a newsletter.
You know what's really going to get you is that when we do Flame Bound, it'll be FB on FB.
Thank you so much. If you go on there and if you share a photo of you playing the game, or a cool shot of the components, or just creative shots of the game, basically, or you just with your gaming group playing it, and just use hashtag game for a T, TEE.
Game for a T.
Game for a T. Then that enters you, and it's running until the 1st of December, and then we will pick someone. And
I also want to point out this comment as well. The t-shirts after this, we are going to work on getting them for sale as well. But right now, we're going to kick this off with a way to win them. Right. So you just have to, as Rosie was saying, you have to put a picture of Flamecraft on the table, right? Or you and your friends, or anything Flamecraft in the Flamecraft group, Facebook group.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do contests. Yeah.
We love to see different shots of the components. And
just to be clear, you don't have to. Photography is not the key to win. It's random draw, but creativity is welcome. And we don't always do contests on Flamecraft. Sometimes we do them on. See, I did it also on Facebook. We don't always do them on Facebook. Sometimes we do them on YouTube, or by email, or on Instagram or Discord. We change it up. This particular one is you need to be in our Facebook groups to play.
Jell's like, yeah, we already started because
basically you've been caught by the time difference that is only this week. For 1 week only, we are going to be a different time. So, but you're welcome anyway. We were talking about you and how great you did at Essen with us. So, and thank you again for that.
The next t-shirt you can win is the Andromeda's Edge one, and it could be it's a random faction, right?
Edge. Now, I have to do a caveat. This particular Andromeda's Edge shirt is the Astro Drakis that I'm wearing, but the design is not a guarantee. So if you say, I want to win an Andromeda's Edge, we don't know what faction you'll get. You could get wolves, you could get blorps, techno blorps. I have a variety of t-shirts with different logos on them because we did demos and we gave different logos out to the demoers, and I don't know which one I'll have the day that you win. But you can win one.
The same thing for this one is go into the Andromeda's Edge fan group on Facebook. Post photos of playing the game, cool atmospheric shots of the minis, whatever you want really that's of the game. And make sure you use the hashtag game4AT so that I can find it. I'll literally search via that hashtag to find all the entries so I can pick a random one.
If you post on Instagram, or if you post without this hashtag on Facebook, so if you go to Facebook and you forget Game for a T, you are not entered because we will not find it when Rosie searches.
I won't find it.
I mean, you have to, Mark Dandridge, by the way, you posted a great picture today in the Andromeda's Edge group. If you just mark that with Game for a T, you can just enter yourself. Although you have one, so maybe you don't need another one. You have a shirt because you have done so many community posts. Lastly, we can win one more.
Critter Kitchen.
Critter Kitchen. This is what it looks like. This is the Zoo Chef within a Zoo Chef within a Zoo Chef shirt.
I love it.
I love this design from Sundara. This is the mouse.
There was an old lady who swallowed a fly. And I love it.
Yeah, like this is it's not like a, we didn't do like a mouse and a lizard inside a boar. It's a boar chef. It's the Zoo Chef in triple. It's like 3 sizes. And also I'm going to say that it's not guaranteed to be this shirt. This is the light one. We have like the Andromeda's Edge shirt and this one are like a sports, like moisture wicking type of shirt. But we also have a Critter Kitchen one that's cotton, that's blue. And I might have, it just depends on, I don't know which one you'll win. It depends on the size and you know what I have available at that time. But you'll get it's a cool logo.
So for that one, as you can't post a picture of the game because you don't have the game yet, just post a picture of either critters, like your critters, or food you've made. Don't just take pictures of Pinterest. We know. So your critters or food, your critters and food that you've made, a cool dinner that you cooked, someone else cooked for you.
I already posted a photo for the Critter Kitchen one.
Yeah, some lovely cakes that he made for his daughter. It's very sweet. So,
thank you for clarifying, Peter, that you wore the shirt to the hospital, but it was a false alarm.
Thank you.
I actually wonder, funny thing about T-shirts is I used to, like I was talking about earlier, working at Disney, and you would get a shirt for every production. So I could wear the Chicken Little shirt or the Fantasia shirt and stuff like that. And every once in a while you get stopped in a mall and someone says, what is that? Like, what is that? And so I will say that like my son wears this shirt to his school all the time, and people stop him and say, what is that? It's really cute.
I actually, because we gave those T-shirts to a lot of the people who came to the retreat that we ran, I keep seeing Grant Lyon and Danny and
Grant wears that shirt all the time now.
Grant loves that shirt so much.
I love it. Yeah. Well, I will say, and another kudos to Manny. He picked out a very soft, like heather cotton, like a really good, the cotton is so good on that shirt.
Lovely.
So, yes, win a shirt. Be part of the Cardboard Alchemy crew when you get that. We're gonna have more fun things to talk about next year. Oh my goodness, we're not there yet, I don't think, to talk about all the things in 2025. But shirt-wise, we'll also try and put the shirts online somewhere so that people can get those, because there has been also talk that people want to get a Cardboard Alchemy shirt itself, which always blows me away. I'm shocked by that, but I'm excited by that.
I want like a Hawaiian shirt of just loads of potion bottles. That's what I want, like a sort of
a Hawaiian Cardboard Alchemy.
Subtle alchemy like shirt.
Yeah, that's fun. We'll continue to make goofy things, and if people continue to like them, we'll talk about it. Because we made a lot of merch for Critter Kitchen, and maybe too much merch. We'll let people be the judge of that when all of a sudden people all have the oven mitts and the tote bags. The tote bags, by the way, and the puzzles, and recipe cards and cookie cutters and all these things. We have fun trying new things. We have lots of fun, more ideas coming up. Not enough merch. Thank you.
Never enough.
Well, it's amazing how we're making the games primarily, but it's also, because we're focusing on art at this company, it tends to feel like, oh, I want to see these characters on other things, and it's a there we go. Mike feels like Brad would approve the Hawaiian shirt. It's easy. That's all it takes, really. Is just
Brad wear Hawaiian shirts? Have I ever seen Brad in a Hawaiian shirt?
I've never seen Brad in a Hawaiian shirt.
I'm like, I've seen Peter C. Hayward in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yes, Peter C. Hayward would approve the Hawaiian shirt, I'm pretty sure. I used to have to wear Hawaiian shirts for a job. I've waited tables, I've bartended. I worked at Islands Restaurant for a brief time in Los Angeles. Islands is they have burgers and fries and shakes, but it's all Hawaiian like decor inside, and everyone has to be in a Hawaiian shirt. So I had to get a number of Hawaiian shirts for my closet at that time. Oh my God, that was something.
Kieran has a question. I missed the late pre-order for Critter Kitchen. Is there any way I can still get it, or do I need to wait for retail release? So depending on where you are, there may be shops that backed the Kickstarter. Yes. So if you message us on Instagram or Facebook or use our online, we've got a message thing on there on the website, cardboardalchemy.com. We could tell you who backed it, and you could see if they still have pre-orders open or ways to buy it. If not, then there will be a small amount left much later on our shop that we will have available, because we always have a little bit extra. But at this point, the list is closed. So yeah.
Depends on what you're looking for, because if you mean deluxe, then the thing that you should know about Critter Kitchen is it is not necessarily coming back. So all our games are different because there's deluxe editions and there's promos and whatnot. And Critter Kitchen is one of those games where deluxe is right now not going to retail and is limited only to the ones that are going out on Kickstarter, which is the ship has sailed. Well, the ship hasn't sailed, but the ship is about to sail.
The ship has sailed.
But then, as Rosie said, there's retailers that back. There's stores in Texas or California or Florida, or there's stores internationally in Australia and Malaysia, wherever you are. There's a store probably that got some deluxe. You need to find those, because those are going to be the best shot. But as Rosie said, if we have extra deluxe after, we will put that in our store. Our shop, generally speaking, does not have games, but as we have games like Critter Kitchen that don't have deluxes in stores, we might open that up for any copies that we've left. Now, if you're looking for a retail, a standard edition of Critter Kitchen, the standard edition and the expansion are going to stores, friendly local game stores. After the ones that backed in the springtime, Critter Kitchen will then be in stores all over the place, and it will possibly, it'll go to friendly local stores and hopefully big box stores, and it will be. So if you want Critter Kitchen, the base game, and to get all the gameplay is going to be available like via regular game stores.
Yep.
Deluxe, though, if you really want the glorious like stars and wooden meeples and all the wood pieces and shiny coins, of all of that, and the trays, the game trays, if all of that interests you, then two ways: find a retailer, and again, as Rosie said, you can message us and we'll help you. But also, if you miss a retailer, then we might have some at the end, but I would try and find. So deluxe.
Yeah, because I've had a few people message. Yeah, I've had a few people message saying, I don't know what stores backed. And so we have a list of those stores, and some of them might have pre-orders open. Some of them just ask them, are you just selling them in the shop when it's, so just check what their plan is, because often they want to hear people who want to buy the deluxes. They like knowing that. So yeah.
Some stores have like already sold their, like they take orders during the campaign, and some stores just get a bunch of extra because they know. They know that it will be big when it comes out, which is really nice of some stores to bank on us. Cardboard Alchemy, we're really flattered for that. Guess you missed it all. We did mention you at the beginning, Hungry Gamer, because I was talking about how I just showed up at your house and played games, crashed. You weren't going to play games that weekend at all, and I said, let's suddenly play games.
Did he have plans? Did you like?
No, he actually was doing a gaming weekend. I got invited. I feigned that I could not make it. I said I couldn't go, and then I came for it. But it was a little bit touch and go because the gaming was only supposed to be on Saturday, but we extended it to Friday and Sunday with the help of Will's wife booking him out on the other 2 days, saying that he had things to do, but he didn't know what they were.
I don't know if I could do that to Doug anymore. I've done too many surprises. One time I was like, we're going to this baking show for my friend, and he was like, okay, went all the way to Reading, which is like an hour or so of London. And we actually went to a talk with there's a famous spaceman who played guitar in space, ground controller major, Captain something, can't remember his name. Hadfield?
Yeah.
Can't remember. And that was for him. And so he's like always thinking, where are we going? What secret things going on? Because normally we're very specific about our plans. So good on her, because I don't think I could do it anymore without him going, where are we going? What's going on?
I remember throwing a surprise party once for Brad, which is his usually Brad's wife is Tina. It's usually surprising him by saying like she'll contact me and say I want to do the surprise. And one time we had like a big party that Brad didn't know was happening. We all had to like be in the dark, and then it was a game night, and it was really fun to do that.
That's sweet.
I love surprises. I'm never going to be sorry for those kind of things. I think those are awesome. I know some people don't like them. Absolutely would not want that, which I get.
I like surprises. I'm pretty good at just not asking any questions. I'll just go like, okay.
Thank you, Mike. That is how I roll. That's what I say when I show up places. I got teased a lot when I was younger about having a Bond-sounding name.
Really? Like,
yeah. It was at the time somebody thought that was a proper insult. They were like trying to make fun of my name, and I was like, "You're calling me James Bond? I do not understand why you think this is bad." Like I don't understand.
Yeah, I thought kids were more creative than that.
No. We did get Hungry Gamers also mentioning a game that I didn't mention, but we got him the metal dice for the game Tesseract. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it's a game from a Smirk and Dagger, which is there's a cube. I guess the overall theme is that this cube is going to hit Earth. It reminded me like we were playing Armageddon. We were playing like Bruce Willis, and we had to like destroy this asteroid before it hits Earth. And so dice are coming off of this cube, and then you're allocating the dice as a team. You're trying to figure out where the dice are going to go and survive some of the impacts that are happening. Because as symbols get exposed or as dice build up in this one area, then it just sort of chains. And while I think that game would be fun with plastic regular dice, wow, with the metal dice, it's really cool. So I'm glad you liked it.
It's worth saying that the next 2 weeks we actually aren't going to be live. We both have things on.
There's 1 week. Wait, no, next week next week I can do it.
Next week, then 2 weeks.
And then I don't know what happens. Well, I know what happens for you.
Yes,
you're going off doing some
I will become a wife. And if anyone wants to play a fun guessing game, my surname is actually going to be the same as the name of one of the critters in Critter Kitchen. This wasn't intentional; it just is. So if anyone wants to guess what my new surname will be,
okay. So you're saying that one of the critters in Critter Kitchen will now be your surname.
Yes.
So you could be like Rosie Raccoon. You might be Rosie. Well, you're not gonna, but we don't know your partner, or no one. I don't know if anyone does. So I wonder if anyone could guess.
I mean, some might.
What was that?
But it's the name of a critter, not the animal. It's the name.
Oh, it's the name of a critter. Like, in other words, one of the. What you're saying is it's not an animal name. It's one of the zoo chef names.
Yes.
That's I don't know if our audience knows all the zoo chef names, but
well,
but I think the guesses are still going to be good. You're going to be Rosie Cosmo Octopus.
Rosie Cosmo. I mean, Peter C. Hayward was here, and he should know all the names.
He should.
So, he should. But if for a clue, it was one of the ones that we named as a community.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
I could, because I happen to have a copy of the Critter Kitchen expansion right here.
Rosie Edge.
Zoo chef names. And I can see if everybody wants to commit right now and choose your name, regardless of what you think it's going to be. We're just going to tell you what it is. This deck does not have the zoo chefs in it, but it does have Guy Fieri.
I don't think Fieri would like it if I took his name. Yes, I am
I'll
marrying
find
Guy
it.
Fieri.
I'll find it. Okay. So here are our choices, everybody. We've got Rosie Atticus. Rosie Atticus. We've got Rosie Billy. I think that's not a good combo, and you shouldn't do that.
It's not a good combo, no.
No. Are you saying? Okay, we'll hold on a second. Cecilia. I'm just going to rule some out. I don't think it's Cecilia or Donna or Rosie Dottie. I don't think so.
That's just a description.
Rosie Emma. Okay, here's our first contender. It could be Rosie Finn. Finn is a good name.
Could be.
I don't think we're gonna go with Rosie Hans, but Rosie Hootley sounds pretty fun.
I actually think we know someone called Hootley, right? That's why it was called Hootley.
I also think it's not. Let's see, Rosie Lenore. No, Rosie Lulu is also funny.
That's like the rest of a name, Rosie Lulu.
Yes, I also think this is middle name contender, Rosie Marie, right? So I don't think there's.
I mean, my name is Rosemary, so that makes sense.
There you go. We've got Rosie Peter, which is funny because of the stream.
No, it's not that. We're too many Peters already.
Here's another contender. We've got Rosie Pocket. That's pretty cool. That's good. That's a possible contender right there. Finn in Pocket. Rosie Queenie. This is the cutest character ever, by the way.
Bond. Rose Bond. No, I'm not that suave.
No. Rosie Richard. Rosie Richard.
Richard is a surname.
I don't think anyone. Rosie Shaggy is a different way to
go. I can't do a Scooby-Doo impression, sadly.
Rosie Skeeter. Skeeter the skunk.
It's a bit
That's
too
a cute character too, by the way. Rosie Spike. Rosie Stripes. Rosie Stripes.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Rosie Stripes is a fun set of words. Rosie Sid the platypus. Rosie Marty, I don't think so. And Rosie Alex, I don't think so. I think we're down to. I think the contenders that I would choose from in this batch of Zoo Chefs that I've just gone through is Rosie Finn, Rosie Pocket, or Rosie Stripes. Those are.
Hungry Gamer says it's got to be Finn.
There you go.
Pocket. Bucket, like you like bucket like this. You mean like bouquet? I'm thinking of a British TV show, I think, where it's Keeping Up Appearances, where their surname's Bucket, but she's so fancy she says bouquet.
Nice.
Everyone goes, Mrs. Bucket. She's like, it's bouquet.
Nice.
Pocket. Yes, they are correct.
There we
my
go.
Surname will be Pocket.
There
because
you go.
We're
Rosie
taking
Pocket. That's cool.
The beginning of my surname and the beginning of Doug's surname, and it becomes Pocket. So
that's fun.
Yes. Yeah,
I like it.
I know.
That is going to be fun. So you're going to do that for
a
couple
that.
weeks. You're going to go do that. And then I will be leaving I'm going to BGG Con, where I'm going to play whatever game. I'll probably Andromeda's Edge a couple times. I'm going to be checking in on the hot games room to make sure that everyone who's playing gets a fun teach of that game. Plus, going around the con and playing whatever the new stuff is or whatever. But then the week after that, I'm visiting Alex Cutler. I mean, we could do a stream I could stream with Alex, but I think I will be just getting there. So we're going to take 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off because then there's a Thanksgiving. So we're going to have a bit of a break. We'll come back. I want to say we'll come back, but there's PAX. So we'll probably come back in December sometime, and then we'll have we'll have a Critter Kitchen background behind me. We'll start talking about Critter Kitchen delivery, more Critter Kitchen things than just guessing Rosie's last name. And then we'll talk about all the things Critter Kitchen because it's going to be delivering. We're going to start delivering Critter Kitchen in the beginning of 2025. And then we'll also start talking about what Cardboard Alchemy is going to be doing in 2025. There is unbelievably exciting things, in my opinion. Our biggest year ever. Lots of fun games to talk about. Possibly expansions to some games. Possibly small, like pocket-sized versions of some games. I don't know. We'll have to talk about all the things that are
pocket-sized.
There you go. Yeah, depending on what galactic pocket that you're talking about, we will have lots of fun things. So, but it's the beginning of November right now, and there's other, plenty of time for gaming in 2024. So don't worry about that. We have tons of gaming left to do. That's actually one of the reasons why we can't stream every week. We got games and things. So Hunger Gamers like pocket size, like Rosie. So how tall are you? That's how big the next game is.
I'm 5'3", so pretty.
Okay, so a game that's
short.
at least 5'3". 5'3". We didn't say what type of measurement, but 5'3" something.
Yeah.
And after BGG, you'll finally get to answer the remaining letters from last year's Flamecraft promo. Yes, I will be answering letters. I apologize for delay in letters. I will strive to not only complete the letters that are in my pile of letters, but also come up with another fun thing and a faster way to do letters in the future. Like, I think
I'm going to buy you a really big stamp.
I mean, part of the thing that happened, making 2 games will do that to you. But also, I decided to make sure I wrote to each person and stamped the letter, and it was a bunch of fun. But it was also a bunch of
which was lovely.
So sorry
everyone who's got their letters really like their letters.
I mean, it was a fun idea. We try fun ideas all the time. I really appreciate everyone's patience with me, because it turns out I'm a bit busy. We're going to work on the speed at which we actually have improved a lot in the prize category. You know how I said Cardboard Alchemy always has prizes? Some of the times when I had to ship out the prizes, and there'll be certain people, if anyone sees the stream, they'll be like, hey, I still have a prize coming. It used to be where prizes took an extremely long time, because I don't know, it is a hard thing to run a company and run a shipping division of that company. So I apologize for that, but that's what happens. But we've gotten a lot better at it, I think, partly because we have team members now who keep me honest about these things, and stream and folks like in our streams that keep me honest as well. I definitely want people to have the prizes though, so we'll send out some T-shirts, we'll send out some more letters, we'll get caught up, and then we'll start 2025, and we'll give away more stuff in 25 than we've ever done before. As soon as I say that, Brad's like, what? But no, we'll figure out a way to get some more cool prizes.
The screen goes blank.
You know what I want to get for a prize is I want to get one of those tie copies of Flamecraft. I want to get one of those.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Because it's the brand new deluxe. Flamecraft would be fun to have. Speaking of Flamecraft, I'm going to go test some Flamecraft right now, because we are testing new things for Flamecraft. So that'll be fun. Our Discord can join in on tests soon for something new on Flamecraft. So more to come on all that stuff later, but I'm going to go test some games now, Rosie. And
Me too.
Hope everybody else. What was that? Yes.
Me too.
Come test also. Let's test some Flamecraft, and then we'll come back and we'll talk more about that. And we'll get going on maybe not Hawaiian shirts, but we'll get shirts. We'll get shirts going. Flamecraft mask. Yeah, Will said he wants to have to wear the dragons.
A face mask. Okay.
Yeah. So
I thought you just meant
because these days, if the people who are, sometimes people wear masks in crowded spaces, and masks are still, generally speaking, they're not that cute. So I don't know. That's an idea. We could make a cute one.
I used to make my own. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody, game on. Tell us what you're playing. If we didn't answer a question in the stream, but you want to ask a question, you can ask on YouTube. You can ask on our Facebook groups or on Discord, or you could tell us what you're playing for the weekend, and then we'll report back. Or we'll report back. Next week is our last one in November for a bit, so we'll try and get all those. We'll get everybody's Thanksgiving plans and what everyone's playing in that stream before BGG. I've played the promo card from AE. Oh, that's the Flamekeepers. You must be talking about how Flamekeepers.
Yeah.
Yes, the Flamekeepers are a faction you can play in Andromeda's Edge, and also we have a shop coming called Spacecraft, which you can land in town if you're playing Flamecraft. So All right, everybody. Until next time.